Go ahead and say your name, what you majored in,
Okay.
and where you did your internship.
Do you want me to look at the camera for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my name's David Farley, and I majored in Chinese at the BYU College of Humanities. And, sorry, what?
I did an internship. Say my
Oh,
name. Yeah, you
the
can
whole
say.
purpose.
You can say, my name's David Farley. I studied Chinese, and I did an
Okay.
internship
Do you want me to start
in...
over?
Yeah.
Because this is
That's
something
perfect.
they're going to see. Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, my name's David Farley. I studied Chinese at the BYU College of Humanities. I did my internship in Nanjing, China.
Okay. And what did you do at your internship in China? Or while you were in China, what sort of experiences
Yeah.
did you have in your internship?
Okay, so this was actually a combination of, get my hands out of the way. This was actually a combination of study abroad and an internship. And so, yeah, should I explain that first? Sorry, because this is kind of confusing because it wasn't just an internship, it was like also a study abroad. Do you want me to talk about both of them or just about the
Just
internship
some of the
specifically?
tasks you did. It doesn't matter whether it was the study abroad or the internship, but kind
Okay.
of what were some of the skills that helped you develop your or work on your Chinese? Would you say that, let's see, how about this question? What do you value most from your time in China or your
Okay.
experiences in China? And when you answer a question, maybe repeat because
Yeah.
the audience isn't going to know what I asked you. So, in that case, you might say
Okay.
something like, my experience in China allowed me to professionalize my language, or something like
Yeah.
that. Like, I already knew Chinese serving a mission in Taiwan. Maybe share that. So what do you value most from your internship in China?
Okay. The thing I valued most about my internship in China was the ability just to be immersed in the culture and the language. The company that I was interning at was actually a completely Chinese company, so I was actually the only American in the company, which I thought was a really good experience because I not only got to learn some of the language applicable to the job, but also I had the opportunity to learn Chinese business culture as well. So.
Okay, and being a graduate from the College of Humanities, do you think that it is essential for a humanities student in today's world, and a lot of kids have a hard time getting a job after graduation and stuff like that. Do you think in today's world it is essential for a humanities student to do an internship?
Yeah, I think it's essential for every student to do an internship. And I think the number one reason is because companies this is an international economy now. Companies are looking for people that have international experience. Sorry, does it have to be international or just an internship?
No, you can say international
Okay.
experience. No, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I think it's crucial that all students do an internship because along with your studies, I think it's important to have some hands-on experience, and not just to get to know the field of, or not just to get to know the field of work that you're going into, but also just to get a feel for the job culture or the office culture wherever you are. So.
Definitely. And do you think that, do you think the job that you have now, do you think that you would have gotten the job that you have now had you not done this internship?
I think the number one reason why I got the job that I have now is because of my internship. It's kind of hard to say whether or not they would have hired me without this internship, because I know that was the number one highlight that set me apart. So I'd have to say that I definitely got the job because of my internship.
Okay. And you said you had already known Chinese from your mission. Did your internship do anything to change the language, or?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you're on your mission, you obviously learn the gospel language. You learn the vocabulary that's applicable to the missionary life. But for me, and especially with Chinese, I mean, it's just the business vocabulary is a completely different world. And so I think my internship just opened me up to, you know, the business world, which is huge with China. So yeah.
Okay. And I know you already answered this question, but once again, just casually as if you're talking to me, don't worry about the PLC being on the other hand, what your answer is.
Oh, it's just awkward looking into a camera and saying it.
I know.
Because you're right there.
It really is.
We know.
Maybe I should sit over there. But just simply tell us some of the tasks they made you do while you were in China that maybe helped now that you have a job, you can apply some of those skills.
Do you want me to be honest?
Is there nothing that you can take from your
your
internship?
Honestly, this is Chinese business culture for you. Well, and especially as being a foreigner, to them, you know, seeing an American, they didn't know what to do with me in my internship. And so, you know, they had a spot for me, they gave me a desk and a computer and whatnot, but they honestly had no idea what to do with me. And so, you know, it started out with me just kind of filling up the water pitcher, just trying to find something to do, anything. And then eventually, as I gained a little bit of trust, you know, they gave me some responsibilities, some tasks to do, but, you know, nothing that I thought was really significant. Most of it consisted with, you know, translation or just, you know, keeping minutes in the meetings and whatnot. But I'd say the thing that I really pulled away the most from the internship was just experiencing, number one, the business culture, Chinese business culture. That was the number one thing, just learning how to interact with, you know, the Chinese people in a business environment, knowing what types of things were going on behind, you know, their decision making, why they behaved the way that they behaved. And then I think the most valuable thing with, you know, the culture was kind of learning some of the reasons why Americans and Chinese get frustrated during business negotiations, and it just comes down to cultural differences, which, you know, most people aren't taking the time to study and to become aware of. And so I feel like that was extremely valuable. And now when I actually see communication or transactions going on between Americans and Chinese business people, I can pick out, you know, reasons why, you know, frustrations occur, or I can kind of see what's going on. So
Definitely.
It's pretty interesting. So.
Well, that's good to know. And would any of that sort of business communication, do you do any of that in your current job now?
Yeah. The company I work for is called Merit Medical, and they have an office in Beijing, and I communicate with them, you know, pretty much on a daily basis, whether it's by email or telephone. And they've actually gone through several people in my position that hasn't really worked out because, you know, they didn't really understand the difference between Chinese and American business culture, and so I think it's making a difference with, you know, my experience in China. But
That's great. Is it pretty fun to take what you learned in school and maybe your interest in Chinese and be able to use that as a career now? I mean, it's something that you do now for a living. Is it something that you expected when you were going
I
to
didn't
school?
really learn much in school.
Okay.
I know you're gonna cut that out, but
I think we might lead with that.
So I'll try to give you a real honest answer first, and then I don't know. What do you want?
Okay, from say the mission to school to internship to where you are now, what have you taken that's most important to be where you are today? What got you there? What do you think got you there? Why do you think you have such a great career now?
I never said I have a great career.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, you have a job post graduation. Not very many students. I mean, a lot of people are struggling for that. So I mean, I don't mean to put words in your mouth.
No, I know.
But in your interpretation of, you know, are you grateful for where you are today in
Yeah.
your life? And what do you think got you there?
Yeah, so I mean, just to put things into perspective, I really am grateful for where I am right now in my job. I think it's going to lead to a great career path. And so, you know, like I already said, it started with my mission in Taiwan that piqued my interest with learning Chinese, and then continuing that education on at BYU, just, you know, deepen my understanding and my education, obviously. And then I think the internship was really the capstone for that. So.
Could you say all that over, right? Exactly that in like 10 seconds?
Okay. So yeah, just to recap. So I think it all started with my mission in Taiwan, where I was able to learn the language, and then I was able to continue that study at BYU, and then I think that my internship was the capstone for all my studies. So I don't know, that came out a lot worse.
Do you want to say it one more time?
Sure. So.
It started with my mission in Taiwan.
Did you want me to also say? Okay, never mind.
It started with
it
my
doesn't
mission
work when I have lines. So.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that's fine. And I mean, put this in your own words, but it started with my mission in Taiwan, and then I was able to further that by, you know, my major at BYU, and then what really sealed the deal was my internship. And
you got it.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, it started with my mission in Taiwan, where I started learning Chinese, and I came back home.